So in this video, I'm going to show you a few tips about working into foundation chains, chainless foundation chains in crochet. So I have a separate tutorial which explains how to make chainless foundation rows. I'll show you quickly here, but I'll pop a link to the tutorial in the comments below. And I'm just going to chain 2. I'm keeping this quite loose so it's easy to see. So I've chained 2, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the first chain, so second chain from hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 1, and what that does is that creates the chain that I'm then going to work the stitch in. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 to finish the first stitch. So I've got my single crochet there and then the chain there underneath. So to work into that chain, I'm going to insert it under those 2 stitches to work my next foundation single crochet. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 1, which creates the chain, and then yarn over and pull through 2, which creates the single crochet. Then my cat gets involved because she can't help it. I'm going to keep doing this, so insert into that chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. It can be quite fiddly to kind of find the base chain, but you can see once you start to work them that they come up. So I'm gonna just work a few more. I always recommend keeping it quite loose when you're doing that first chain underneath. It makes it easier to work into. So you can see that's the first yarn over pull through, which creates the chain. When you get to the end, there's a couple of ways that you can work into it. In my patterns, I tend to write turn, but actually after a conversation with someone, you kind of flip rather than turn. So the traditional way to work into a chain is to work into these stitches. So these are effectively the tops of the single crochet. So normally what I would do is I'd come to the end of my foundation chain, chain 1, and then instead of kind of turning your work like that, you actually just flip it up. So it's a little bit like working into a chain. And then that would be the first stitch. So I'd work a single crochet into there and then a single crochet into the next one. So that's the traditional way of working into a foundation chain. And then here, these are the kind of chains you created. You can see there's quite a bit of stretch in there, although it curls a little bit. Once you get working, it does kind of straighten up. So normally this, for example, would then be the base of my sweater if I was working bottom up, or the edge of the blanket. But the trick I wanted to show you, as well as clarifying that flip versus turn thing, what you can actually do, if you want to work a project that basically looks the same at the bottom as the top, so the last row looks like the first row effectively, you can actually, once you finish your foundation chain, flip it and work into the chain side. So effectively you're kind of working almost back around the chain. So these are those chains that I created, so I'm just going to work into those. I hope you can see that okay. So that's the chain. I'm just putting my hook under both of those little V's and working along there. So I'll work along here just to the end. This isn't the most graceful foundation chain I've ever worked, but hopefully you're getting the idea. So the kind of point of this, I'll show you when I get to the end. So once I've worked this chain, I can then chain and turn and go on to work, you know, as many rows of whatever stitch pattern as I like. But the point is now I'm working this way up, and then my end chain will actually look the same as the latest row I'm working on. So this is kind of the row of single crochet I'm working into, but the back end basically also looks like a row of single crochet. So if you are working a blanket or working anything maybe where you want to leave the edges not bordered, or where you just want symmetry, I don't know if you're like me, but I like to have symmetry on both ends, and so it kind of doesn't look like you're working upside down. There's a slight difference to kind of the way it looks, but actually it doesn't look any different to if you work into a chain, but it just has that neat edge that is easy to work into. So I hope you find that useful.